What do you think is the biggest difference between a historic watch brand and a new watch brand? What does each one offer that makes the value proposition so different? I mean, clearly the quality is there. But why is it that when we talk about a new brand, there isn't as much hype as when we're talking about a historic brand? I think the price of a watch, with all those zeros included, has a lot to do with the value proposition that comes as a whole. Now, without a doubt, when we talk about watches that are of maybe equal quality, the price of a recognized brand is much higher. But have you ever asked yourself, why do you decide to buy a Rolex instead of a Grand Seiko? Why choose a Tag Heuer over a Christopher Ward? The answer is simple. I believe that renowned brands are obviously known for something, so it's hard to argue that their watches lack quality, because if they didn't have it, they wouldn't be where they are. But I think the biggest difference lies in the fact that large brands invest a lot of money in giving you an identity. For 99% of people, it is not the same to have a Rolex as any other watch, even if that watch in question is much better in quality than a Rolex. And I'm talking about Rolex because it's the most tangible example for everyone. Rolex has invested millions and millions of dollars in being the top of mind brand, meaning it's the first brand that comes to mind, not just when talking about watches. Rolex managed to patent the symbol of the crown of royalty in people's minds. Rolex isn't the top of mind only when talking about watches. Rolex is top of mind when talking about success, money, investment, and obviously this creates an identity for the user. Because let's be honest, 99% of people who buy a watch don't really care about the brand unless it's Rolex. Unless it is a brand that other people can recognize and that adds something to the person's identity. Let me ask you, when was the last time you saw a Rolex ad on the television? I mean, a true commercial where Rolex tried to sell you something. And the same goes for Audemars Piguet or Patek Philippe. Basically never. But if you stop to think about where you see the Rolex logo, I mean, you see it in the Formula 1, which is the pinnacle of motorsports. You see it in the Roland Garros, in the Wimbledon for tennis, and you see it in the most elite golf tournaments. But you don't need more. Just seeing the Rolex crown immediately makes your mind make the connection. You don't need to see the watches. You don't need them to explain to you why they are the best watches or why you have to buy them. You are just looking at the logo because all of the work behind has already been done. It's simple and easy. Because the best athletes in the world carry that watch brand. Because you want to have that identity. While smaller brands or other brands focus on giving you quality, big brands supposedly already have it. And many times, the quality of small brands is higher than the quality of bigger brands. Now let's take this as an example. Talking about Seiko, when you compare watches in the same price range between micro brands and Seiko, when you talk about materials, when you talk about quality, generally micro brands always come out on top. Seiko has all its history behind. Many people could argue that Seiko no longer needs to offer the best value proposition because it has done so for many years. Many would say that the name is enough because we already have a base to start from. We already know that their watches are made of quality, and if something were to fail, of course there is a warranty that is backed up by the Japanese house. And I like this example because I want to make it clear that it's not just the super expensive brands that only invest in creating an identity for the person. The successful brands that do it and that understand it, they know that it's not just about creating quality products. It's about creating a complete lifestyle and selling it that way. I've said this for a long time, and there are many people who don't really understand it. Watches are no longer just for telling time. They are an accessory, a piece of jewelry, an investment, a statement piece that curiously also tell time. The vast majority of people don't really care if a watch has an in-house caliber, if it has sapphire crystal, if it has 36 hours or 48 hours of power reserve. All of that is unimportant. What is important is what the watch adds to your life. How do you feel when you wear the watch? But please tell me, what do you think about this topic? Now guys, more than 90% of you who watch my videos are not subscribed, so if you like talking about watches, if you like talking about the market, please click that subscribe button, activate the bell, and I'll see you here next time.